Hello, and welcome once again to the Start, Scale, and Succeed podcast, the only podcast that grows with you through all 7 levels of your journey as a founder. And today we have some very, very exciting news. Exciting for me, at least, and hopefully exciting for you. And that is that those 7 levels are finally coming to the real world and right to a bookstore near you, if all goes well. But here in my hand, for those of you who are listening, is a brand new print copy of my book, The Founder's Game, which is officially releasing in February of 2027. But the exciting news for today is that, one, the book is obviously done and going through the final stages of its production process. But even more importantly for you, it is available in pre-sale on Amazon.com. So go ahead and head over there. A couple of things. One, there's some cool perks. If you go ahead and get the pre-sale, you'll get access to one of our courses for free. There are 7 courses, one for each level, that will be releasing in February with the book. And for those of you who buy on pre-order and send a receipt to book@scalearchitects.com, we'll stick all this in the show notes for you. You'll get a free copy of the Level 7 course, which is an overall view of the journey as a whole, but really dives deep into how to create the legacy that you want to leave behind, which is wonderful course. And it's absolutely free for you if you buy ahead and then just email the receipt to book@scalearchitects.com. So what is it? What's in this book? Many of you who've been following me for a while probably got a copy of The Founder's Evolution, which was a long ebook, a short real book, somewhere in between. And that book was the first real release, the official guide to the Founder's Evolution, the 7 levels that all of us pass through, from dissatisfied employee all the way through to visionary founder, and the 6, there's five levels, sorry, in between that. And one of the things that I realized is in that book, there were 2 problems, primarily because of the length. One of the problems was that we really only had time to identify the challenging aspects of each of the stages. And then there's kind of a hint at the benefit of each one. But one of the things that I wasn't able to clearly articulate at the time was the virtuous high side of every level. And what I mean by that is dissatisfied employees become purposeful employees, and they can thrive there indefinitely. Startup entrepreneurs become successful solopreneurs, or reluctant managers become skillful managers, or disillusioned leaders become contented leaders, or chief executive officers become chief visionary officers, or true owners become serial or portfolio owners. And visionary founders are visionary founders, are what we all want to become, maybe, if that's right for us. But one of the challenges with that earlier version is, no one wants to be a dissatisfied employee. No one wants to be a disillusioned leader. And so for the many readers who are in, especially levels 1, 3, and 4, but to some extent in levels 2, 5, 6, and 7 as well, there was a question of like, well, now what do I do with this? And so we solve that in the book. In part 2 of the book, we go through and we look at all of the wonderful sides of each of the levels and help you pick which one is right for you. There aren't just 1 or 2 good answers. There's actually 7 possible right answers, and you get to pick the one that's right for you. And so that was a big addition that we made in part 2. Another really big addition that we made was all of part 3. In the short Founder's Evolution book, there was a nod to the things that you could do. There was 3 or 5 things that you could dial in on, and the virtue in that was that it was very simple, it's very straightforward. There's really 1 or 2 things that actually matter. The challenge with that is how do you actually do it? How do you get there? How do you make that happen? And that needed to be further explained, that needed to be fleshed out. And that's a real challenge in a book, because that's a lot of content that covers a lot of ground. There are 7 different levels from pre-launch to post-exit. And how in the world could you possibly hope to lay that out? And so there's quite the struggle for me for almost a year, actually, of just figuring out how do we make this as accessible and simple as possible, but also offer a rich experience that really helps people to navigate these levels effectively. And that's where part 3 was born. So part 1 is very much like the original book, where we talk about what the different levels are, introduce you to all 7 levels. And one of the things I got an opportunity to do in this version was to add 7 stories from 7 founders. And you'll really, really enjoy it. Super easy, real short part of the book. Part 2, as we discussed earlier, is where we talk through the best part of each, right? The way that you can stay in and thrive, and ultimately how to choose the right level for you, because not everyone does need to get to level 7. And the third part is basically 7 playbooks, 1 for each level. You only have to read 1 of them. You don't have to read all 7, because you're not in all 7 levels. But basically, once you've figured out where you are and where you want to go, it answers the question, how do you get there? And so part 3 of the book is more than half of the book. However, you don't have to read all of it. You really only have to read 1 of those chapters, which is great, because let's be honest, it's a pretty thick book. But the reality of it is, because of the way it's written, and there's a guide to this in the book, you only have to read about that much, probably less than a third of the book. And that kind of in and of itself is the challenge that we have as founders, is that there's a full book's worth of things that people are telling us we should do. In fact, there are almost an infinite number of books that are telling us an even more infinite number of things that we should do. But the reality of it is only a very small portion of that actually needs to be done. And that's what the book is for. The book is really, yes, to help you know what you should do for right now, not ever, but right now. Even more importantly, it's to give you the freedom from the things that you don't need to do right now. No matter how many people say that you should do them or what level they're saying it to or from, this book will be a guide to help you not only recognize what you do need to do to succeed and grow and thrive, and maybe even evolve to the next level, but it's also going to help you understand the things that you don't need to do. And that, I have found, is the real freedom. When I'm working with a new client, it usually takes us a couple of months to really dive into this. But one of the things we realize is they're working 40, 50, let's be honest, really 60, 80 hours. And something like 40% of that isn't necessary. It either shouldn't be done at all, which is probably most of it, or they need a more effective way of handing it off. And so we work on that, and it frees up an enormous amount of time, which in and of itself is wonderful. For a lot of folks, if I could just not have to work as much, that would be great. But for a lot of founders, they don't necessarily mind working a lot, maybe not 80 hours a week, but they still want to fill that time. And so what it does is it creates the opportunity to really grow. And that's been a lot of the feedback I've gotten from the book. Most of the folks who've had the opportunity to help me write it along the way, give me feedback along the way, and those who've gotten early advanced reader copies have, especially the founders who've implemented it, have all talked about how much time they were able to save. And I think that's going to be available for you. So we know this. The thing about books is they have a tendency to sit on our nightstand for quite a while. I don't know if you have one of these, but I've got a stack that's about 7 books high myself. And so this book is one of those that's it's not meant to be read all the way through. You actually don't have to finish to benefit from it. So that makes it a lot easier. And the second thing that makes it a lot easier is there are companion courses. So once you know what level you're in, and if you know that you want to move forward, or if you want to learn to thrive in that level, then we've got a course for you. And we'll be talking more about those as we go. They'll be released in February with the book, but there'll be a companion course for each level of the journey that goes super deep on what you need to do as a founder, and you don't have to read a bit to get there. It's very cool. So I'm excited. Never did a full-length book before. we got to open them up and take a look at them with the kids. It was a whole lot of fun. I'm very excited that the book's coming out. Still have a little while before it goes live, but you can get in on the action right now. Head on over to Amazon. You can use the link in the show notes and get a copy of the book yourself. We've got a special hardback version that we're releasing out of the gate. It's very, very nice. And you'll have those playbooks for every season of this journey you're on as a founder. If you're not a founder, buy it for a founder you love. But you'll also get access to that level 7 course. If it's a big if, you have to send us your receipt. Just send us the receipt that you get from Amazon to book@scalearchitects.com. And when the courses are released, we'll send you access to the level 7 course. And then be on the lookout. In February, you'll get it in the mail, and we'll have access to these courses. That'll be a whole lot of fun and a whole lot of help for you as well. So nice short episode. The book is finally here, The Founder's Game. I just realized I didn't share the title or subtitle for those of you who can't see it here on the screen. But the book is called The Founder's Game. It's a practical playbook to answer the 7 questions, the 7 most important questions that founders ask themselves. Founder's Game. Find it on Amazon. Get the pre-order. Get your free course by sending us the receipt. And it'll be real fun when you get it in February. One more thing. If that wasn't enough, for those of you who buy on pre-order and send it to us, we will send you an excerpt with the full first chapter for free right now in digital form, so you can start immediately. All right. This has been a project I've been working on for a really long time. I'll tell the story another time, but I actually deleted it completely once. So this is effectively the third draft, the third time around on it, plus all of the editing and revision drafts. But again, I'm really excited that it's out here. Wouldn't be possible without many of you who are listening. And just want to take this opportunity to say thank you to you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the encouragement that so many of you have sent about the content. Thank you to the clients and folks I've had the opportunity to work with who've really helped me refine this to a resource that I think is going to be phenomenally helpful for founders all over the world. With that, I hope this book is as helpful for you as I know it's been for several others who've had an early option to check it out. And I cannot wait to see you right here on the Start, Scale, and Succeed podcast in the next episode. Take care. Hey everyone, Scott Ritzheimer here. Thank you so much for listening to the Start, Scale, and Succeed podcast. I hope this episode gave you exactly what you need for the level you're in right now. If you want to discover what level you're in, take our 10-question Founders Evolution quiz for free at foundersquiz.com. That's foundersquiz.com. It'll pinpoint exactly where you are and give you tailored tips to move forward and reach that next level in your journey as a founder. If you got something out of today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, or review. It helps us reach more founders like you, and let's be honest, it means a ton to me, my team, and all our incredible guests. So keep starting, scaling, and succeeding, and I'll see you in the next episode.